Back with another one. Mm-mm-mm. All right, so we're talking about time, densities, and how time is defined by density, which basically means that it's made up. All right, so let's say here are levels of density, like I've been saying before in my last few videos. We talked about seventh density being light. We talked about the diamond, the prism, light, or the central sun being in the sixth density. And then we have what we're calling the sun, which is a sitting photon. Now that I'm learning about this stuff, fourth density being translucent, us in the dome in third, our firmament crossing over a little bit of this plasma field. From what I was gathering, so how does time travel play a role in this? Let's say the higher the density, the faster the frequency. Meaning, I was comparing this to the movie I saw yesterday, which is called Time Trap. And so in the movie Time Trap, minus this little, I was smudging. Time Trap was that there was a cave that these people, spoiler alert, there was this cave, and this cave had this field. And there was the past down here, and then after they've passed through the cave, time would go by, and then they would go back through, and it would be like outer space. Like there's no earth, blah, 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 blah. So these people, what I was gathering from the movie was like, these fields here are plasma. Plasma and photonic atmosphere. Photonic, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think. It's sort of like a electromagnetic plasma field with photonic chain reaction. I don't know. That's my guess. I have to do more studying on the science. So how is this possible, and how does it play a role in this guy? Well, let's say if we did go down a cave, let's just utilize the movie. Here we are, we go down. Each solstice and equinox kept passing by the seconds as the densities were plunging down. And then as the densities were going up, you were catching up to the timeline outside of the photonic plasma field. You guys got to follow me on this. So, faster frequencies on a higher density because you have more photonic action and you have more oh geez, what was I lost my thought. Plasmatic. That's a word I'm making up. Photonic plasma fields. So if you are a higher density being, the offset from your body, your own personal magnetic field, will basically speak for itself. It would create its own plasma. Right? So fast. And then as the lower densities go, it's going just a little bit slower because there aren't many beings on this density. Now, if I go lower, and I go even lower. Now it's starting to make sense, right? So anytime that we see like these ships or apparitions, angelic presences, they're delayed, because if their density is higher, they're moving at the speed of light from the seventh density up. Uh-oh, someone's arguing. So the faster the travel, but going through the lower densities, it's actually much more delayed because there's less photon reaction. There's less photons in the air, and there's less plasma in the air, which thus gives us room to breathe the oxygen, room to breathe, which is why I think there's a dome. I think the dome is a frequency on its own. The electromagnetic field of the dome goes here, and as the densities go higher, the frequency is faster. Get what I'm saying? So when we channel messages, let's say like if you were here, I don't know, 500 years ago, you channeled a message. It's going slow and you're receiving it, probably what, in a few seconds? But the time that it takes to come up and then down with the density, and you're here in 2021, you're basically picking up a past life. In my theory here, you're picking up a past life, an old timeline. It'd be easier to pick up timelines because everything is coming back slow, right? And as it's leaving the current state, it's going too fast. So in essence, I know we talked about the Matrix, how there's us here on the earth. And some people have this belief that there is a higher self in another paradigm, in a stasis, and that higher self is able to channel us. I don't believe that is possible. What I do believe is that the neurons in our head, here's our head, here's our brain, here's our third eye. The neurons in our mind have a lot to do with resonating. And only through light can you achieve something that is not of matter. The only reason why we're able to adhere and catch these things because our bodies are matter. If you can follow what I'm saying. So the way that our crowns are wired, it's able to pick up electromagnetic frequency. It's able to gather and collect photonic activity, which is why I think we're able to resonate ourselves on higher densities, so on and so forth. What else did I want to say? This is why I also think when you see these angels that have halos, that's what I think also is going on. I think this has a lot to do with the electro charge from the photons on any level of density. That's what they represent. Oh. And then you see like there's photos of them from shoulder to shoulder. This is the density from, like if they were descended from the lower frequency under the sixth dense. Because you're at, I always think this is a star behind their shoulders. And I always think this as something above their crown chakra. They resonate. So when you guys are channeling these messages or whatnot, this is why I say you have to be very careful, because if something's talking to you, that's just not of a divine source. So I always say, like, if you, I hate to do it, but if you guys are meditating, You cannot think, hello, I'm trying to contact you, because they're entities right above us in the fourth density. And this isn't good or bad, it's everything. And they're basically going to manipulate you to think that you're doing your job. So you got to stop doing that. 12D is of the Holy of Holies, right? So you have to think a pillar of light going to the highest high. Because you want to go to Source Elder, Prime Creator. You want to think creation, then you want to think divine, and you want to think source. That is the only way you can get the best and the clearest messages. It's all through the pineal gland. Why? Because there's a photonic plane within our subconsciousness that we activate with our melanin. And only by us emitting the photons and receiving the photons from this density, only can we get the right messages, if you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you're getting it from here, and you're getting it from fourth density. You're not getting it from source. So all that like work you're doing is feeding something that is only archon, that's only reptilian, that's only draconian. So that's all I want to share with you guys. I'm going to smack you on your wrists if you're not doing this properly. Always create a white pillar of light from your third eye crown to the highest density, which is 12. Okay? Be careful.